Welcome to Garden Talk for Equal Ground Community Gardens in Brantford. This video comes compliments of Linda Ford. Thanks very much, Linda. We appreciate you. You're brilliant. We're talking about the vegetables that come up in the summer, so early summer to late summer. And remember, as the late summer approaches, we've got a really amazing event that happens called Harvest Fest. Keep in the loop about Harvest Fest. It's extremely fun and it's really, really good food for free. Really great networking and really great community building as well. So keep an eye out for that come late August. So we talked about the early spring and the late spring vegetables and herbs. We're talking about early summer. This is when you're going to start to see your eggplant coming up. So if you were fortunate enough to get any eggplant this year, they are gorgeous. They've got these big, beautiful leaves. They've got a really nice shape to them. They're kind of unique, and then this eggplant starts to come, and it's so deep purple and shiny. It's just mesmerizing. They're gonna need a little bit of time to grow, so don't pick them right away. You want to make them. The eggplants around here probably aren't going to be humongous, not like the ones in the grocery store, but if maybe they're about half the size of the English eggplant that you'd find in the produce section of the grocery store, that's probably a good time to pick it. If you pick it too early, it's just going to be a little too starchy. If you pick them too late, they're a little too brown. So maybe do a little bit of a YouTube on how to harvest and pick your eggplants. There's probably some images there as well. Your bell peppers and your hot peppers are going to be coming up around this time. And again, if you pick them a little too early, they're going to be really hard and they're going to be bitter. They get a little sweeter later on, and the hot peppers get a little hotter later on as well. Your bell peppers, you're going to taste a little bit of a bitterness there, and that flesh that you're going to be eating, because bell peppers are hollow, right? And so the flesh is going to be a little too thin. It's not going to taste great. So just give them a little bit of time. But if they're starting to get little soft spots in them, you've maybe left them a little too long. So get them picked and get them used up pretty quick. Your tomatoes are going to be coming up. Keep them off the ground. The tomatoes that are resting on the soil are going to rot more easily, and tomatoes are a little more sensitive than most of our plants that we grow. So you'll get a good tomato year or you'll get a bad tomato year, and it just sort of is luck of the draw. So keep a good close eye on your tomatoes. Pick them. You can pick them small. You can even pick them when they're a little bit green and make little green tomato salsas if you want. Great thing to do at the end of the season. But we're talking about early summer. So, some of your tomatoes are going to be golden, some of them are going to be a little more purple, some of them are going to be really bright red, and some of them are going to be just a medium red. Some are small, some are big. It depends on what plants that you planted. But the great thing about the tomato plants is that when you walk by them, you're really going to smell them. If you rub the tomato leaf in your hand, you're really going to get a very refreshing aroma. It's really fantastic. So go experience your tomatoes that are in the garden. Even when the plants aren't actually ready to be harvested yet, you can still take advantage of them and enjoy them. Cucumbers are going to be in full force. Same with your zucchinis. If you got any zucchinis in there, the zucchini flowers can be eaten. They can be put into salads. Zucchinis are very proliferative. They'll grow and they'll grow. You want to pick the zucchinis when they're small. That's when they're tender. That's when you see them in the grocery store. Those are really young. If you leave them too long, they're going to get sort of an outside, sort of a toughness to them. They're going to look a little more like a squash, and it's sort of a green and white mottled color type of thing. When they're at that point, you're not going to be able to eat the skin, whereas when they're small, they're nice and dark green and cylindrical, and you get to eat the whole thing. You can throw them in the oven, throw some cheese on them, or throw some olive oil and salt and pepper. When they become like a squash and they've got a thick outer coating, that's when you start to make things like chocolate zucchini cake with them. So you can enjoy your zucchinis, pick them when they're young, and if you want to make some chocolate zucchini cake when they're a little bit older, then you go right ahead and by all means make them nice and big. The bigger they get, the more bitter they get, so there's a bit of a magic time there to get them. But don't worry if they're a little too big and the skin's not edible, you can still use them. Cucumbers, same thing. I mean, the cucumbers, if they get too old, they'll just rot. So watch them, especially the ones that are touching the ground. Just watch when you're picking your cucumbers. They do have little spiky things on them. They're not bad spiky things, but they're kind of uncomfortable if you pick them in the wrong place. So just watch your fingers and maybe put your garden gloves on when you're harvesting your cucumbers. Lima beans are going to come up. All your beans are going to be probably ready to go in early summer. Melons, I'm not sure if we've got any melons in our garden boxes. I think maybe the roots need to go a little deeper than that, but if you're lucky enough to have melons either in your community garden or your personal garden, by all means, enjoy. They're fantastic when they are coming right off that stalk. They're amazing. Your squash is going to start to come up, but it's not going to quite be ready yet. Your potatoes, you're going to start to see potatoes. Enjoy. Enjoy your potatoes. They're great. Now, midsummer to fall, you're going to start to see your beets, right? So we talked about beet greens in the springtime, but your beet root is going to be really nice this time of year. And if you leave them too long, again, they just get a little bit more bitter and a little harder to cook, but the young ones are really quite nice. Broccoli is going to be coming up. Cabbage is going to be ready. I talked about cabbage and cauliflower and broccoli not being quite ready in late spring, even though it's looking like they might. They look like a cabbage or a cauliflower. They're not necessarily edible just yet. They're a little too hard. Carrots are going to be there. They're going to be a little bigger, so you'll get more out of them. If you let your carrots grow too big accidentally and they're really not palatable, throw them in your juicer. Lettuce is probably starting to flower at this point. You've probably got all your lettuce all done and over with at that point, but if you still got lettuce in late summer, you're lucky. Have a good time with it. Your radishes are probably going to be coming to an end at this point as well, but your broccoli's coming up, all your brassicas, right, all your healthy stuff, all your detox properties, your cauliflower, your cabbage, and your broccoli, all those great detoxers. Your spinach, keep picking those babies so that in late spring you're still going to be able to have some and that those leaves aren't too big and bitter. Turnips, if you've got turnips in there, they're also going to be ready. Enjoy!